The following Dungeons & Dragons actual play podcast is based on real events from the history of American crime. Some of this imagery might be upsetting. Listener discretion is advised.
Infinite power, infinite power, infinite power, infinite power, infinite power. Infinite power.
All right, so a monumental recording session is about to happen here. We have both halves, well, 80%, I guess, of the strength check team. If you guys, a team or a squad or whatever you want to call yourself, the party. The situation. Yeah. The happening is here.
Definitely happening.
It's a happening.
This is the opportunity specialist.
We are sans Thomas Conme. Tom, I'm not sure when this is going to air. Probably sometime in September. Tom just finished working San Diego Comic-Con and is flying home to turn around to go out to Gen Con, and then I heard he's going to Atlanta. So this is very much like a Carmen San Diego situation. We don't know, and I don't think that Tom knows either at any given time where he is, but he couldn't be here tonight. So rather than try to run two games with two people each, I decided to take advantage of this because Solar, the cop, isn't here to drag everything down. Cops always ruin a party, as we know.
Although I was looking forward to Aelos and Nim's interaction with Solar.
Oh yeah, so your really implicit instructions, I think, for this session is to cause as much trouble as you can, just to see. Because when we record again, I would like somebody to have to like explain to Solar and Rusty and Joey Greenhorn what exactly just happened. What have they found themselves in? And I have a feeling that that's probably not going to be too much of a problem. So we start with at the house, at the mansion of Alexander Tate, where Percy and Zephyra are. And Solar and Rusty and the whole group there have just come from this hidden salon that they found underneath Tate's study when Solar gets a message on the sending stone that he has, and Rusty starts blowing up too. And Solar kind of listens to it a little bit, and he has this big, like angry kind of sigh, right? Like he's really annoyed at what he just heard. And he's like, well, so you guys have to go. Joey, you stay here to make sure nobody comes into the house. Rusty and I just got called to another murder someplace. And he turns to Rusty and he's like, have you heard of this place? Someplace in the underneath called Sam's Gold Buy and Pawn? Something happened down there. I don't know. But we gotta go. And so they rush Percy and Zephyra out of Tate's house, locking the door behind them. Joey Greenhorn, as a good Greenhorn cop, posts up, and you guys are out into the world now. Solar and Rusty get into their carriage that had not been stolen, in spite of the best efforts of that gang, and they take off full speed to go investigate this murder that just happened at Sam's Gold Buy and Pawn. So, Zephyra and Percy, what do you want to do now?
Oh no, I know it.
so painful. I don't know.
No, because Zephyra, hearing that there is another dead body and another murder, would want to follow them.
Oh, that's okay. All right, Percy, what do you think about this?
Well, Percy is in shock because he heard that name.
Yes.
That was said. Miriam Grattain.
You found a book on Tate's bookshelf that was written by Miriam Grattain.
Right. He heard the name. He got ushered out of
the house.
Mm-hmm.
And now he has a reason to be in there, because now he's kind of almost involved, since it's definitely connected to his family name.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's see. Can we do let's do a perception check to see just how everything looks on the outside. See if there's anybody else lurking about.
Okay.
So, I'm gonna roll this dice here.
You're already resigned. You're already sad and you haven't rolled yet.
Already.
If my rolls from the past 3 days are any indication of my luck, I'm the one who should be sad.
Let's see. Roll a 12.
So you're just looking to see if anybody else is looking around outside?
If there's just anything out of sorts, whether or not it's just a greenhorn hanging out inside the house.
Yeah, you don't see anything unusual. The crowd that had been there before had left. When the cop car takes off, when Solar and Rusty leave in their carriage, any other interest that had been around is pretty much gone. So it's really just you guys standing outside, Joey standing watch.
Okay. Alright. So, let's see. So Percy's thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because now we gotta get back in there. We gotta figure out what's what. We gotta figure out why is this family name coming up? I mean, he had a hunch, but now it's getting kind of serious.
Okay, so we've got one vote to follow the police down to the underneath, and we've got one vote to try to break back into the house that you were just in.
But Percy's also got a plan.
Yeah. So let's hear this plan.
Well, he has a forgery kit,
Okay.
and now he knows he has to get involved.
Uh-huh.
So he just kind of looks around for a second and said, yeah, I'm going to take a walk.
Okay. Where's he going to walk to?
Let's walk out of sight.
Okay. So, do you want to try to make like a stealth check or anything, or are you just gonna?
Let's do a stealth check.
All right. Let's take a walk. All right, make your stealth check.
I made it, and I got a 14.
Okay. I mean, it's always dark here. It's raining. I mean, you don't really have a lot of trouble kind of disappearing. But is Zephyra, are you going to follow him on this? He just said, let's take a walk. So I think it's kind of implied that
Yeah.
you want to...
Zephyra would follow. She'd be curious about the dead body, but kind of seeing what this other person that she just met, all this craziness going on, he was asking weird questions. She'll probably see what's going on with him.
Yeah. Okay.
She can find a dead body anywhere. It's a big city. There's probably one somewhere laying around she can mess with. Do you want me to roll stealth check too?
That's up to you. That's up to how she's going to interpret this invitation to like sneak off into the shadows with Percy Grits.
Yeah. I feel like she probably realized he was kind of looking around, trying not to be seen, going toward
something.
Towards something. That's 12. I suck.
Again, I mean, it's dark. It's not. I mean, there's nobody really around looking for you anymore. I think Joey would probably be trying to keep an eye on you, given how bizarre everything was that just happened. But he's a greenhorn for a reason, and so he's not really able to keep track of you for too long. So you're both hidden. So what's the next step in Percy's plan?
All right. So Percy looks at Zephyra, and he says, yeah, so I think I'm about to do something really, really stupid.
Run it by me, and I'll tell you how stupid I think it is, and if I can help you.
Okay, I need to crack this case for myself, so I need to become a private investigator licensed by Backfire.
Okay.
I got this forgery kit here. Can you fake some signatures for me?
I can try my best.
Alright. So Percy gets out his little forgery kit, and he starts doing attempting to do some automatic writing, just to make it as official looking as possible.
Okay.
Then he's this Backfire private investigator type person.
Uh-huh.
So I suppose you need rolls for that. So.
Yeah, I think so.
Let me get this dice out.
I think this is a sleight of hand. I think this should be a sleight of hand check.
Okay, yeah. All right.
May the dice gods be in your favor.
Just for fun.
Oh, hey. I have 17.
All right. You are able to come up with a reasonable facsimile of something approximating like a license in the Private Investigators Guild. So, Percy Grits is a pig. So...
Well, let's wait. Let's have him define his newfound stature now.
But it was the acronym is the thing. I had to beat Ree to it. I had to beat Ree to it.
Yeah. All right.
I was distracted thinking about the gummy bears that are over there on the shelf that I could go get, but don't want to get up and go get.
Get them gummy bears.
All right.
Yeah, my dad won't miss them.
No. As your DM, I give you permission to steal your dad's gummy bears. I feel like it falls under my purview.
He won't
So,
miss any.
So she
No.
doesn't have to roll a sleight of hand for that?
Nope. Inspiration, in fact.
Well played.
Like the desk.
Okay, so
Oh my god, that's a lot of gummy bears.
It is a lot of gummy bears.
while Percy is forging this private investigator's license in the shadows, in the rain, in the middle of the street, we turn now to the continuing adventures of Aelos and Nim. Aelos and Nim are standing outside of Sam's gold buy and pawn, a little worse for wear, with their companion, Paul / St. Cuthbert. So how are they doing after what just happened?
Well, Nim's fine. You know, Nim didn't take too much damage, as we could say.
So to speak.
Encounter.
Okay.
Aelos took a couple licks. I've been better, but I'm not at death's door.
Okay.
Paul just with the news, right?
Yeah, Paul's fine.
Yeah.
He's good. The last thing that he had told you was that he wanted to seek out his friend Leslie to try to get some sort of information about what was going on with him. Not that you guys haven't been helpful, and he had been really thankful for all the guidance that you had given him until that incident in the store where Nim hit him. Much in the way of like a Division II like strength and conditioning coach might hit like a defensive tackle to try to fire him up. that same kind of misguided way that look you're giving me right now.
Division 2? Is Nim not capable of coaching Division 1?
I mean, you guys are still level 1, so long way to Alabama.
Alright. No Nick Saban. Got it.
My mind has briefly flashed like, would it be realistic to have Nick Saban show up in the game? All manner of evil can appear and backfire. There's no reason why Nick Saban can't too.
Oh god.
Anyway.
Well, there goes that sponsorship.
Oh, yeah, right. Sponsored by Alabama. I don't...
Roll Tide.
Oh. Gross. Oh, man.
Oh boy.
I'll put that on the podcast, don't worry.
Yeah. Tag them in this and see what they say.
Oh, Mark.
Anyway. So, Paul / St. Cuthbert wants to go find his friend Leslie. Are you guys going to allow him to go or not? Because he's basically charging off. He's not really sure which direction, but he's charging off in a direction.
I would probably follow along.
Okay.
Hopefully he's not too mad at me. I didn't hit him in the melee.
It was a love tap. It wasn't even that hard. That was my best roll, too.
It was. Okay, so he's talking to himself, and he's basically trying to reason through, like, where would Leslie be this time of day? Would she has this bookstore, but would she be in the bookstore, or would she be with some of those layabouts that she likes to associate herself with?
Would she be in a bar? Answer, yes. She would.
Aelos says that to him, and he gets, like, the dirtiest side eye. like no. And he says to him, in, like, his best sort of, like, he's very patronizing about it. He says, Aelos, I believe that you have had enough to drink today already.
But you said that she was with layabouts, and totally do the air quotes.
Oh, yeah.
Would those layabouts not be found in a bar?
I mean, he's got a point there, Paul.
He
As
says...
a person who's been called to layabout, and the frequency that I go to bars...
He says, no, not layabouts in that sense. These are people who offer no real... They don't contribute anything to the moral fabric of the city. You two, gentlemen, for all of your eccentricities, are very clearly men of the faith. For the alcoholism notwithstanding, you are certainly too hard on yourself, calling yourselves layabouts. No. Not like this Tate fellow.
Wait, Tate?
Yes.
Tate? What? Who? Wait a second. What Tate are you talking about?
This friend of Leslie's. His name is... They just call him Mr. Tate. He's some such and such. I'm not... But I need to talk to Leslie.
The director?
I think he has something to do with that sort of thing. I am more of a reader. You understand? Plays and these dramas. It's all... And the problem with men like that is that it's really corrupting the kids these days.
Well, I agree wholeheartedly. But do you like this guy? Like, were you close to him? Because I've got some news for you, bud.
He says, like him? I can't quite remember, but I bet Leslie knows where. I bet Leslie can explain where my memory went, what happened to me. And Leslie's not a drinker, you understand. And he kind of laughs at his own joke in his head.
Him laughs back a little bit. He's like, so on a scale of 1 to 10, if Tate were to die, how would you feel about that?
He kind of shrugs. Like, meh. I'm not sure what kind of... I think he would try to say something to you about, like, whatever Bahamut would say about the afterlife. He has some sort of pithy Bahamutian scripture for you. And he frames it as, like, as your people might tell you about the afterlife, as Bahamut teaches you, though he may not have it entirely correct. Men like Mr. Tate do not, as I've said, contribute much to a just world. So his loss is not Backfire's loss.
Hey man, I got you. Geez, that's kind of harsh. Nim looks over to Aelos. He's like, "Are you gonna tell him? Because I thought I made it kind of clear that the guy's dead."
Sure, yeah. That Tate guy's dead.
He takes it completely in stride. Like, he doesn't pause, and he just...
But if he was your friend's friend, she might be upset. So where would she go when she's sad? Answer, bar.
No.
Nim loves a good drink, but even he's like, wait a minute. That doesn't even make sense right now.
No.
Gotta get out of the bar.
No. I'm telling you, Leslie, if she knows of this, if this is true, and he kind of looks at you and he says, and it is true, right? How do you know that Tate is dead?
They were talking about it in the bar before the fight broke out.
He laughs and he says, "Oh, young Aelos, you clearly have drink on your mind. Perhaps we should pray about this before we continue."
Trying to pray the drink away? That doesn't seem like it would work all that well.
You know, it might be time for an intervention, Aelos.
I'm gonna have to start taking notes, if only just to write down the quotes.
Pray the drink away. Oh, man. That's so bad.
The things you want to say.
Yeah. He says, no, I appreciate your enthusiasm to go to another bar, and we can find, perhaps this is the way that you're showing your grief over the loss of Mr. Tate. But I think that my friend Leslie might indulge herself in something a little bit different if she really does know about this, and assuming that your associates at the bar are correct that Mr. Tate is dead. I think that Leslie always had a sweet tooth.
I could go for cake.
I could always go for chocolate.
Death by chocolate?
No, there's this place down here called Death by Cupcake.
Some say it's better.
Some say it's better, you know. Chocolate's more robust down here. In the darkness.
Yeah, it's dark chocolate. Ooh, yeah.
Beat me to it.
Okay, so back to Percy Grit's Master Forger.
Percy Grits.
Percy Grits.
Forger. Concerned Bard.
Mm-hmm. How's that going?
So, well, he's got his little document,
Okay.
and he looks at Zephyra, and he goes, "Okay, next part. I think I'm going to need you to play along, because this might get weird."
Oh, no, it can get much weirder than it already is. My life is pretty weird, so we should be good.
Okay. So, Percy starts walking back towards the house,
Zephyra's gonna follow.
and walks right up to the greenhorn, and just about
The greenhorn who knows your face.
yeah.
Mhm.
And he just looks at him and goes, "Yeah, have they been here yet?"
Joey says, no.
He's like, "Are you sure? The people that look like us?"
Make a deception check.
Okay. Well, this is where it goes bad.
I'll help.
14.
He kind of squints at you and he's like, the people who look like you, but you were just
Yeah.
here.
Hate to tell you, but we really weren't. We were about 3 neighborhoods east.
3, and he kind of thinks about it for a second. It's like, why were you over there? We didn't get a call about anything over there.
They didn't tell you that, they didn't tell you that the doppelgangers are out, did they?
The doppelgangers are up?
Yep. It's very, very twisted stuff.
Oh, you're new, aren't you?
It's so hard to keep a straight face because when Griff is like, it's gonna get weird, I know exactly how weird it can get, and I'm like nervous about what might happen. So he says I am new. Second day on the job.
Okay, so they haven't gotten to you yet, have they?
Who?
The people that control the doppelgangers.
Who are the people that control the doppelgangers?
That's the problem. We don't know what their faces look like. So what they do is they take other people's faces and they confuse people by leaving bodies and going to places and making people think that there's more than two people.
He says, what does it have to do with what happened to this guy? I'm confused right now.
That's what we're here to find out. We just had to make sure that the others had left.
Well, I'm the only one here.
Well, we can't let the doppelgangers know that we're onto them.
We have to go back inside.
But you've never been inside.
Percy just pulls out his little sheet. Man, I've been everywhere.
He looks at this forged private, or this certificate from the Private Investigators Guild. The ink is still fresh, and the ink is running on it a little bit from all the moisture in the air. But I'm gonna roll. I gotta roll for him. I gotta think about. I gotta give him a fighting chance here. I rolled a 1. So he looks at it and he's like, well, everything seems to be on board, Mr. Grits. Maybe I'll get a promotion out of this. Captain Greenhorn pretty soon. Come on in.
Thanks. And they walk on inside.
Okay.
I follow.
See, Percy makes a beeline for where that book is.
Okay. So the book was called Slow Thinking, Fast Acting by Miriam Grattain. On the top left shelf in Tate's study. So
Okay.
Percy goes for the book. Does he pull it off the shelf? Hi again, everybody. This is Dr. Andy Wilczak. I wanted to say thanks again for taking time to listen to the show. We really appreciate it. The reason why I wanted to make Strength Check into an actual play D&D podcast, when there are so many other actual play shows out there that are probably way better than anything that I could do, is I want to draw your attention to a project that I'm a part of here in northeastern Pennsylvania. We're calling it Play for Progress, and the idea is to use D&D and eventually, hopefully, probably other tabletop games to help middle school and high school kids who are struggling with mental health problems or addiction issues, or who feel alienated or isolated in some way. This part of Pennsylvania has been hit really, really hard by the opioid crisis. This part of Pennsylvania has a very high alcoholism rate. And this part of Pennsylvania is diversifying very quickly, and there are those who have capitalized on that to try to create more conflict between people. So we have a lot of kids here who are alone and who are suffering, and suffering mightily. So what we're doing, and the point of this message now, is to just let you know that we are raising money to make Play for Progress a sustainable force for good in the northeastern Pennsylvania area. If you have even $5 to spare for us, you can go to GoFundMe.com/playforprogress with hyphens between the words, so play-for-progress. And anything that you can give us will go a long way towards making us sustainable. Thank you.